You are looking at the Formula Hybrid 2023 car mod for Assetto Corsa from Race Sim Studio, the latest Formula One inspired release from a modding team known for making the best F1 cars available. Today we'll discuss what makes it so special and take it for a drive at an all-new testing ground. The Formula Hybrid 2023 is yet another race car from RSS and is designed to replicate the experience of driving a Formula One car from this year. The car is equipped with the latest real-world racing technology and engineering to make it as fast and powerful as possible. And if we look at the car's body, this is where the biggest differences from last year's mod lie, which we'll get into shortly. And this is once again a scratch-made build. Race Sim Studio has taken this approach for all of the Formula Hybrid cars dating back to 2017. If you're trying to put your finger on which manufacturer's entry this is based on, you'll be interested to know that it's based on none. Race Sim Studio takes the approach of building a car based on F1 regulations rather than one of the 20 cars on the grid. As a result, the Formula Hybrid 2023 features a sleek and aerodynamic design that's built to achieve unreal levels of speed we see in F1. It's a step slower than what we saw from 2017 to 2021 generations of the Formula Hybrid, but is still the fastest active field of race cars. The car's body is made of lightweight materials, including carbon fiber and titanium, to make it as light as possible, and carries a weight of just over 800 kilograms. Under the virtual hood, the Formula Hybrid 2023 is powered by the hybrid engine that combines a V6 turbocharged gasoline engine with an electric motor. This setup allows the car to produce just about 1,000 horsepower, which again will make it one of the fastest cars you're likely to drive in Assetto Corsa this year. The car also features F1's elite levels of advanced suspension and braking systems that are designed to provide the driver with maximum control and precision on the track. The car's suspension is fully adjustable in the pit menu, which allows us to fine-tune the car's handling to our individual driving style. So what's new in the Formula Hybrid 2023? Probably the biggest change from the outgoing years, the addition of aero packages and wing sets. We saw this with the Formula Hybrid's competitor last year, the VRC Formula Alpha, and now RSS has adopted the same approach to their own car. This allows the car to a greater degree to be incredibly fast and agile for select circuits, or biased more toward top-end speed as the track requires. The car's hybrid engine provides massive torque and acceleration, making it incredibly responsive. Comparing the competing VRC Formula Alpha and RSS Formula Hybrid from 2022, the RSS car was more predictable under acceleration, so we'll see shortly if that has carried forward into 2023. Time now to get this beast on track for some laps, and I'll be driving it at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, home of the F1 Mexican Grand Prix. This circuit was recently brought to us by VRC in generic form, and there's since been a skin released on Race Department that makes this track absolutely incredible. It's not even a track layout I particularly like, but it's so well done that I'm growing to really like driving here. So let's go. So just before we start driving, I want to take a quick look at some of the sort of visual and aerodynamic options for the Formula Hybrid 2023. So if we go into the tuning menu here, or the setup menu, as you can see, standard fuel, tires, gears, everything we're used to. There's also a massive amount of customization you can do to the suspension, but I want to focus for a second on some of the aerodynamic options. So you can see kind of at the center of your screen there, lower center, we have nose options. So you can set it like this with that nose protruding, or it can be pulled back. You can see there's a little air inlet there too that disappears if you go with option 0. Option 1 again pulls back and adds that. So pretty cool there, and that will have effects on the performance on track as well. And I don't know exactly what they are at this point, but at some time in the future I do plan to investigate that and see what it does for your perhaps top speed and overall handling. And then rear wing here, as you can see, it kind of dips, goes flat, and then raises up again. That's aero config 2. If we go to aero config 1, you can see it raises up in the middle, almost a W-shaped rear wing. And if we go to 0, it raises the whole thing up. So you can see 0 to 2, you can see how much higher 0 is at the rear wing. There are also visual options that have no effect on aero, and we just go to visuals in the setup menu. Let's quickly zoom in here. It's a bit difficult to navigate this, but I'll do my best. So you can see the halo as is. That is the standard halo setup. And then if we, Sorry, I'm at the wrong spot here. You can see the center post of the halo disappeared there. Let's do that again. So normally this is your default, and as you can see, there's a post there, and some people hate driving with a post in the middle of their view, so you can switch it to halo mode 1 and that will disappear. The reason I was zooming in on this particular part, there's also 2 halo styles. This style, and then if we go to style 1, it adds these canards, however you say that, here just for a little visual update. Doesn't affect aero, but yeah, just a little visual tweak you can do. And then if we want to have a quick look at the antenna here, it's a bit hard to see on this car. So get zoomed in here. Actually, it's not that hard. It's gray on gray, but you can kind of see it. So that's the basic outline of the default antenna. Switch that to style 1, and then it becomes this guy. Style 2 is this guy. And then windscreen style, gonna have to get right zoomed in to see this. And again, sorry for the awkward zooming here. Let's see if I can get in a little bit closer on that GSI wheel. And then look right here, and if you see, I switched from windscreen style 0, which is the default, to 1. You can see it adds this little windscreen here, again, visual only, and then go to 2, and it is the jagged style you might be used to seeing. So something else to note here, the GSI Hyper P1 wheel here, that's most of you probably know, but this is actually a real world sim racing wheel, and they've added it here in the Formula Hybrid 2023. That is a very cool thing. It's a very nice wheel. I haven't had a chance to try a GSI wheel, but by all accounts they're fantastic pieces of sim gear. And then if we get in a little bit closer, I'm gonna have to be very delicate here to try and get this picked up. Come on, Mike, you could do this. Well, you see the big IMB Racewear logo there, and then if we go down very carefully, you can kind of see the glove. Oh, there we go. We can see the left glove. So you see the IMB Racewear gloves here. And look, IMB Racewear. It's what I've been rocking for many years now. I love my IMB Racewear gloves, and it's so cool to see it now in sim. So that is a quick tour of the setup screen, and now it is time to drive here in Mexico. All right, so time to drive the Formula Hybrid 2023. And we'll start off, we'll dial this back here. We'll go with no deploy initially. Just let things come up to temperature. You can see the tire temps, or tire pressures rather, at the center of your screen on the wheel, currently kind of 20-ish. Ideally, I think they should be closer to about 23. You heard that DRS beep there. I could reach up, press DRS on my wheel, and that rear flap opens up, of course. And then we have a little speed advantage. This is not nearly as fast as the Formula Alpha 2022. I was getting speeds here in Mexico of 340-ish kilometers an hour. But this Formula Hybrid, I think, will be a lot more limited than that. It's just running the default setup here. And I think we should be seeing speeds of like 315, 320, something like that. And you will probably also notice a bit of wheel locking. That is not to be concerned with. It is perfectly normal to lock up under braking. This thing just kind of slides in a straight line, and you end up just fine. All right, I'll dial it up to low now, low deploy. So we should get a little bit better speeds. Targeting somewhere around 1:20 here. 17.7 is pole in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And here on low deploy, there's no concerns about running out of battery life, that's for sure. We can even dial it up a bit more, and we'll try and do a high deploy later, which will give us a lot more of that electrical motor output, and in turn, better speeds. But you have to use it sparingly because you will run out of battery. So right now I'm just on low, so it's got more than enough juice to carry me around this lap. And the sounds, I mean, the sounds are the sounds. It's a turbo hybrid era car, so they're not going to sound great, but I think for what it is, I think Race Sim Studio has once again done a great job. They always do a great job. And yeah, again, the task was to recreate one of the worst sounding eras of Formula One. I was impressed with it live, but yeah, in a simulator, it's not going to sound great, but for what they were tasked with, Race Sim Studio did a great job. So that last lap was a 1:23.2 basically. So looking to shave eventually about 3 seconds off that if I'm to be happy with the time. And this is a fun little section here in the hybrid. Oh, but I didn't quite take enough out of the speed. But yeah, those rapid fire left and right corners feels very cool in this car. Alright, so after this lap, we'll switch to balance to start to get even more temp into the tires and brakes. Hopefully see those times creeping down. So balanced is the default, and that should get you plenty of power, get you around the track without depleting your battery too much. So that's kind of the way to go. If you don't want to mess around with MGUK, just leave it on balanced and you'll be good. So how does it drive? Well, it's a bit more skatey than I remember the 2022 being, but not too bad. I would still say this is a bit easier to drive than the Alpha 22. Now, what is right? I have no idea. This might shock you, but I've never driven in Formula One. So I have no basis for comparison to the real thing. But yeah, fun little car, definitely. So the question it begs is it worth it? Should you buy the Formula Hybrid 2023? And I will admit, this is the hardest I've had to think about this in some years. And the reason being is, it is very similar to the 2022. I wouldn't say they've necessarily broken any new ground with the 2023. If you're happy with the 2022, probably no reason to rush out and buy this, quite frankly. I mean, is it an improvement? Yes. If you have to buy one or the other, get the 23. But if you own the 22, I mean, you're probably good, honestly. I'm not sensing anything with this car that's totally mind-blowing versus the outgoing year. And that's a compliment to the 22, frankly. Yeah, it's just very, very similar to me. Or if you own the Formula Alpha 22, do you need to rush out and buy this? Probably not. I mean, there was no regulation change in Formula One between 2022 and 2023, or nothing of significant note anyway to this car. So yeah, very, very similar. I think you'll be fine with either. But again, if you don't own either and want to drive it, definitely go with the 23. It feels really great. It just kind of feels that year on year it's getting sort of difficult. And I know Chris Hay spoke about this as well in a video, I think about the 2021 Formula Hybrid maybe. It's just like, it's so good year on year that it's difficult to sort of perhaps find those improvements as a consumer at least. You're talking about minor tweaks year on year, and it becomes harder and harder perhaps to justify the purchase. So maybe just an annual sort of update until there's a major reg change, and then focus on more major projects in the background, but whatever. I'll be happy with whatever Race Sim Studio decides to do. But drop it in the comments, let me know what you would like to see them focus on. Alright, let's see if we can get into the 119s here. I'm going to switch to high deploy, and we'll see if we can creep those lap times down a bit. Horribly inconsistent so far. Last one was a 121.256. Oh, Mike. Just threw away my lap on that terrible corner. So we will use this as a build lap and then try and hit it next lap. But I'm convinced I can be into the 119s. You can see that time dropping as well. Once you switch to a lower deploy mode, it does have a significant impact on your lap time. All right, back to high. First gear for some reason. Helicopter coming to sea. One old man in his garage whipping around a virtual car. Woo. A lot of power. Just about caught me out there. Horrible corner. Yeah, that was not good at all. All right, let's go one more on high. .1 120.1, I should say. So definitely got a 119 in us. I might have said 129 earlier. Slightly down on the previous. Well, it wasn't clean, and now I'm down time. boy, that's scary. Scary amounts of power in this Formula Hybrid 23. Slightly off my PB there. We can do this. Let's go, baby. Still more time to be found, but I did get my 119.6. We'll go one last one here. I think this will be it for my high output. Very close to a PB pace, but not quite. All right, so I tried, I pushed, but no such luck. All right. So, final thoughts on the Formula Hybrid 2023. Well, I mean, it's fantastic. Year on year, car by car, Race Sim Studio delivers. As I say, I'm starting to get to the point where it's harder and harder, and this is kind of an irony, because it's like they've painted themselves into a genius corner. The cars are so good, but year on year, the improvements it feels like the improvements are getting smaller and smaller. So it's hard for me to say, yes, run out, spend your hard-earned money on this new mod, because it's so much better than the outgoing year. The fact is, the 2022 was really good, as was the Formula Alpha 2022. So it becomes, what are you actually paying for with the latest year's version? And yeah, it just gets harder and harder. And I'm not saying it's a bad mod, of course. I think it's fantastic. I just think that it's, as a reviewer, it's harder to say to my viewers that, yes, this is something you should absolutely buy. If you don't own either car, either the Formula Hybrid 23 or the Formula Alpha 22, if you don't own either of the 2022 cars, should you buy this? Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And if you do own one of those cars, it becomes harder to justify, but I don't know, maybe you'll find something that I didn't. But again, phenomenal car. It's really one of the best Formula One experiences you can have, period, in sim racing. And well done to Race Sim Studio. All right, that is going to do it. Enjoy this full volume replay, and thank you so much for watching.